Hi everybody, welcome back. My name's Alison, the online piano and the online violin tutor. Today I'm going to be going through the second movement, or movement 2, from my Simply series, my mini concerto in G major number 1. If you want to see the tutorial and all the performances for this, the videos will be linked directly underneath this description, as where you can buy this book from as well. That will be linked in the description bar underneath, so you can get your copy of this. So I've already done movement 1, a tutorial on that. Movement 2 we're going to be going through today. So if you want to know how to play movement 2 from the mini concerto series, then please keep watching. So the first thing I'm going to do is just explain how the music works. So what I've done here, the same with the first one, if you followed that one, is I've put all the fingerings above all of the notes and all of the strings that you're going to be putting those fingers on. So all you need to do is kind of work out the rhythm. But I've got performance videos on that. When you get the book, you'll get performance MP3s of that, so you can listen to it over again and again and again. You'll be able to play along with the violin part. It also comes with just the piano backing as well, at the full speed, and it also comes with a slightly slower piano backing as well at a slower speed, so they can use that to kind of practice with until you kind of build your speed up. To make it super easy for you beginners, you can see that, for example here, the first note is going to be a first finger on the D string. The second note is going to be a second finger on the G string. So it says here, this one is a first finger on the D, this one is a first finger on the D, this one is a second finger, so they're all on the D string until you get to a change where it says the G string. So I think that's pretty much self-explanatory for that. But what I'm going to do now is just play some parts through and just take you through any difficult parts. The first thing that I actually think that is quite difficult is when we come to bar 9, where you've got a D sharp in there, which is a first finger. So the D sharp you've got there is a back first finger, so it's not going to be on the dot, it's going to be back. And you want to go as back as far as the nut, or until as far as you kind of feel that little kind of ridge in the violin there. So if I play from the bar before it, so can you see I just slid my finger across there? I just slid it all the way back. And then when I come to the next part for another first finger, but for an E, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag it forward. So and then just carry on. So don't lift your finger off the string. As soon as you start lifting fingers off strings, then you start getting open strings in the middle. Okay, so the hints and tips at the bottom say at bars 24 and 32 and 30 and 38, cross the third finger over the second finger. So I know that seems quite complicated and quite awkward to do, but it isn't when you come to playing it, and you'll see why in just a second. So I don't know, if we take bar 24, it doesn't really matter because they're all the same. In bar 24, you've got a second finger on the A string and a third finger on the D string. Now technically, the third finger for the D string should be played with the second finger because it is an F. So the C that you've got in that bar, the first note should be a second finger, as it is. The second note should also be a second finger, but here's why. The second finger that you've got on the A string for the C is a back second finger, which means it's right next door to the blue dot. The next note, or the last note in that bar, is a stretched second finger on the D string. But to be honest, because you're going from a back to a stretch, there's no clean way of doing that without lifting up the finger and moving it, which means you're going to get an open D in the middle of it. So to get around that, what we're going to do is play the second finger and then just pop the third finger over it. And it's fairly simple. You know, it's not going to cause you any major difficulties, but this is why you can't do 2 second fingers. So if I just play that bar, can you hear that horrible kind of slide that you get in the middle? If I lift my finger up and put it onto, from the A to the D, you get, so you get kind of, you get that kind of snatching sound and the open string in between. If you were going from a stretched second finger to a back second finger, it would be different because you can almost kind of drag it. You can, you know, drag it back, but you can't really drag it forward. It doesn't kind of work the same way because you're pushing the string. no matter how you do it, it's not going to be clean. So what you're going to do is just to pop that third finger over. So it's almost like it's just sort of feels like it's kind of twisting over, but once you get used to it, if you highlight those bars, what you're doing is just, it's no more than putting the third finger down on the same string. It's the same thing, but you're just moving it over to the D string. So that's on the same string. If I move it onto the D string, then you get the nice sound. So that happens 4 times in total. So try and do that. But when you put the third finger down, make sure that it doesn't go on the normal third position or the normal third finger position. Otherwise you'll be playing a completely different note. So that might sound okay in isolation, but when you put it together with a piano part, it's going to sound horrendous. So if it does in those 4 places, then you know why. There are a few fourth fingers that I've put in there. They're kind of optional to do. In some of the places I have put a kind of 4/open, for example, the very last note. It's up to you if you want to do an open E. That would be nice to finish on, or a fourth finger. Normally we kind of avoid open E's if we can, because we like to put a little bit of vibrato on them, because obviously you can't put vibrato on an open string, but you kind of can on a fourth finger. But, you know, for beginners, if you guys aren't doing vibrato, it's completely up to you whether you want to do fourth fingers or not. I've kind of put fourth fingers in where it keeps the continuity. In other words, it keeps all of the notes on the same string, which basically just means it avoids crossing a string, which means, you know, you're not going to get any scratchy sounds. But like I said, it's completely up to you. And as for the last note, it's up to you whether you want to do a 4 or an open. So I think that's pretty much it with this one. The speed is nice and slow, so that's not too tricky there. And I think that's kind of all the difficult parts in here. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you see all the videos that I release on my channel and you get notifications for those. A link to buy the book is going to be in the description bar underneath, and a link to the 3 movements, including this one, obviously will all be in the description bar directly underneath this video. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.